Alright, welcome back to another video. The portfolio today is up to 220k, a little over $5,000 today. SoFi ended up recovering a lot today, and same with HIMS. Two big positions in the portfolio, but I wanted to talk about a new position and a new put that I sold on a new stock to the Robinhood portfolio. Before we get started, if you like this kind of content and you like to watch someone try to sell options for some extra income, that's what this channel is all about. I am trying to create another large income stream, selling my own options, taking the money from selling options, reinvesting it back into my favorite stocks, whether it's stocks like HIMS and SoFi and Robinhood, or if it's high income ETFs. I like to spread the money all around and those different things. So if you want to stay tuned and see how I do and either learn from the things I do well or learn from my mistakes, then you're in the right place. So hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any future videos. If you want to join my private selling options chat group, it's linked down below. But today I sold a new put, and that is on BMNR stock. And BMNR does a few things. They mostly hold Ethereum and some other cryptocurrencies, but mostly Ethereum, and they also mine Ethereum, so it's very heavily congruent with the price of Ethereum. And if you're a believer in Ethereum and you think Ethereum is going to play a major role in stable coins as more things adopt stable coins, like I think JP Morgan was already dabbling with stable coins and PayPal has their own stable coin coming out, then this is a high risk, potentially high reward play. And I ended up selling a put on the stock today. And of course, right when I sold it, it actually went down even further. I sold it for this week, and I sold it at a strike price of $57.50. And really quick to reiterate what it means when you're selling a put is you are making money selling a put because you have the buyer of the put that's paying you for this. But you're essentially saying, I'm willing to buy 100 shares of a stock if it goes below the strike price. In my case, the strike price was $57.50. And if it goes below $57.50 by the expiration, the buyer of the put can sell me their shares. And if it stays below when this option expires and the person that bought it didn't exercise their option to sell me their shares, then I have to buy their shares regardless if it's still below the strike price. So if I would have sold this put right now, I would make $144. I didn't quite make this. I made probably half of this because right when I bought it, this stock ended up dipping. So $144 for selling this put is pretty substantial. The only thing is I usually sell puts with a delta of a 0.3 or lower. This one, if we take the absolute value, is 0.35. So there's a 65% chance that this expires worthless, which is great, which is essentially what you want. You collect your premium, you let this expire worthless, you move on, and you look for your next trade. But on the flip side, there's a 35% chance that this does get in the money come expiration, and I have to buy these shares. But if you're willing to go with those odds and you're okay with owning 100 shares at $57.50, like I subscribed to when I sold this put, $144 in 3 days time is pretty substantial. And if you're curious, what does that mean in terms of ROI? I'm glad you asked. I have a options selling calculator over on selloptions.net. You can go check this out for yourself, plug in numbers of your favorite stocks and your favorite options that you're considering selling and see if they're right for you. But if we plug in the numbers for this particular trade, it expires this Friday. The expected premium, this is what you see in Robinhood, so it was $1.44. The strike price was $57.50, and I only sold one contract, so let's say we do that with right now's numbers. If we go ahead and hit calculate, what we already knew, I'd make $144 in premium, but more importantly, what's the ROI? What's the return on our investment? Our investment being the money that we have to set aside as collateral when we sell this put, which was $5,750 that Robinhood ties up as long as this contract is active. And that is 2.5%. And the kicker is, if I were to sell this right now, most of my puts I sell and I use margin as the collateral. I'm not saying you should go out and do this. This is just what I personally do. Of course, that makes it more risky because if I get assigned these shares, then I start using margin, which accrues interest, to purchase and hold these shares. But in the meantime, as long as that option's not exercised and I'm not forced to buy 100 shares, I don't pay any interest on that margin. So I'm using the bank's money to make money. And I like to compare this to real estate, but in the stock market. You use bank's money typically to buy real estate, rent it out. And as long as you're making more in cash flow than what you owe the bank each and every month, that's a pretty good investment typically. And here, I think it's even better because I'm using the bank's money to make money and I don't owe the bank anything as long as the option doesn't get exercised and I don't have to buy the shares. So even if it does dip, let's say it goes down to $57 sometime this week, I still have options. I can roll this at a lower strike price at a farther expiration date to avoid getting assigned those shares, or I could just let it get assigned and transfer some money to cover the margin. And then what did I do with the $144, or in my case, the 70 some dollars I think I got? Well, I put it into shares of QQQI, which is the NEOS NASDAQ 100 high income ETF that pays me in passive income each and every month because they sell options as well on the NASDAQ and pay out to shareholders. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you learned something in this video. If you like this, please hit the like button. That means the world to me. And I hope to see you in a future video.